Okay, in this video, part 3, we're going to look at adding a video to our PowerPoint worship service presentation. So, we use the 2007 version of PowerPoint. There are 3 challenging things about the version. That is, number 1, it only works consistently well with one video type, which is WMV. Other file types, such as the popular MP4, either do not play at all or won't play properly. So any video content must be in WMV format. In another video, I'll go over converting using some free software to convert video downloads and things like that into that format. But for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to assume that the video we're going to be putting in here has already been converted, which it has. So that's number 1, WMV format. Number 2, the other important thing is that the video must be on the hard drive of the computer where the video will be projected as part of the slideshow. So what that means is that if you download a video somewhere other than the church media booth computer, it must be copied onto the slideshow computer and inserted in the slideshow from there. So you've got to, if you download it somewhere else, at home or wherever, even some other computer at the church, you still got to download that to a thumb drive and get it onto the hard drive of the computer that's in the media booth that is used to show the slideshow. The reason is, unlike pictures and backgrounds and text and things like that, PowerPoint treats videos more like a link instead of actually embedding the videos on the file. So that's why when you put the video on the slide, you see it there, but it's actually created a link to the video on your hard drive. The third thing, and you don't run into this very often, the file path and the name must be 128 characters or less. So you've got some real crazy long name, and it's on your hard drive under C, and a username, and another subfolder for videos, and another subfolder for Christmas shoebox videos, and you've got a real long name there, and it's embedded in that folder. And when you add the name of the file itself, if that's got a real long name, you could find it's not going to play right. So you just got to go in there and shorten up that name a little bit, and that will resolve it. I've only run into it a couple times. So it's an unusual problem, but the characteristic of it is that the audio plays, but on the screen all you see is just a blank screen or a white screen very often, and that's a key that it's able to find it, it's able to pull the audio, but it can't pull the video. So those 3 things to keep in mind. WMV format is the only and best format to use. The video itself has to be on the hard drive of the computer you're playing the slideshow from. And then that weird thing about the file name has to be short enough, considering the whole path and the file name. So the term insert, where movies and videos are concerned, is a bit misleading when it comes to PowerPoint, because once again you're creating a link telling PowerPoint where to find it. So let's go ahead and insert a video into the PowerPoint that we are building for the Sunday. So here we go. We'll go up to our box folder and go down to our worship service PowerPoint folder. Click there and open. And we've been working on this one, dated 11/15/2020. We're going to open that. Alright, we're going to maximize this so we can see what we're doing easier. Whoops, sorry. Maximize the PowerPoint one instead. There we go. Okay, so we're going to just drag this and come on down because we're going to be putting in a video for the Christmas shoebox. There it is right here. Okay, so this text already resides on the screen. Sometimes when you start a video, it starts from a black screen. It starts because it's fading in from black. So you may not know that there's a video embedded on that slide. So that's the idea of putting this text box on there to tell you that it already has the slide inserted. I'm sorry, the video inserted on the slide. The weird thing about, once again, PowerPoint, is that videos will always come to the front. So you can put this reminder text here on top of the video, and as soon as it starts to play, the audience never sees this text because it is immediately pushed to the back. The video comes to the front. It's kind of like having two pages stapled together and you flip that one behind the other immediately. Okay, so we click here, we see there's no content because if there was a video on here, you would see a highlighted rim around this here, okay? The other thing to keep in mind is this size of this little slide is also the dimension of what your screen is. So you can see what's happened here. I've grabbed this text box and I slide it in and out. When it's there, the whole thing appears. That's what's also going to show on the screen, whatever's inside this content area here. So imagine that's your screen. So if you've got something that's halfway off the screen, guess what? The audience only sees half of it. You're going to find out why that's important in just a moment. All right, so I'm going to click off of this. We're working on our slide. We're going to go up here and insert from the menu. We're going to come over here to a movie, and then it wants to know where the movie's at. Well, typically when we have a series with a bunch of movies on it as part of it, for instance, the Christmas shoebox or a sermon series that may have some opening videos, we'll kind of group them up into a folder underneath the videos on the hard drive that makes it easier to find. So we're working on a 2020 Samaritan's Purse Christmas shoebox right here. So we're in our videos. We're going to open this up. And the one we're going to look at this week is this one right here. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to say OK, and that's going to insert it right here. We're raised with a question immediately. How do you want the movie to start in the slideshow? We're going to tell it automatically. The reason is, as we click through the slideshow, we're going to be on this slide as the pastor announces and introduces the video. So then when we advance to this slide, we want this one to start playing immediately. And then when it's done, we've got this additional slide as kind of a spacer for us. Okay, so what do we know? What do we see about this? Well, the first thing we see is that, see, as I pull it around here, it's too big for this window, too big for the slide. So that's going to be a problem unless we can resize that. Well, that's easy to do. You simply slide up here and grab these little circles on the corner. Grab one of them, click your mouse and hold, left click and hold it in. You see it change there, and you just drag it in. See how the whole movie is getting smaller and smaller? It's still keeping proportion though. It's important to drag it in on an angle to keep the proper proportion. So let's see how we're doing. We've gotten pretty close. So we can just drag, either way, you can drag from the top to bottom. Any corner will work. So let's see, we're still a little bit big. And when you get pretty close, it kind of snaps into place. So we've set it here, and we can see we're good top to bottom. And we can drag it down here, and that shows us we're good left to right. So now all we need to do is slide that up in the middle. We can see the representation of it here. It all fits on the screen. It's all going to fit on the screen up front. And we've already clicked on it to tell it to fire it up as soon as we advance to this slide. So what about this text now? What if this had a black entry? It was fade in from black. Maybe we couldn't see this image here to tell us, hey, there's something on that slide. It may just look black. Well, what you can do is, once again, click on this box. Click up here so it stops. See the way that's kind of a dotted line across the edge there? Because we're inside the box to edit the text. If we click right on the edge here, that gets to be a solid line. Then while we're still staying there, right click and we get a menu. We can go right here and say bring to front. So now our text is in the front again, so we can drag it, click, left click and hold, and just drag it over here so it's back on the screen as our reminder. This is a video, it's loaded onto the slide and it's ready to go, and as soon as it advances to this slide, this text immediately disappears. The audience never sees it. So we've got it inserted, we're ready to go. We would also take one additional step after inserting a video. That would be to test it on screen, make sure it plays properly, play it all the way through, make sure you've got no audio or video problems for it to play through. Once we're all done, we simply, as always, we can save because we've made some changes. And once we're saved, we can close it. And once again, here we are. We're in our box. You can see that these are blue. This is the one we were just working on. And there, it went from yellow to blue to tell us that it has been synchronized. And of course, we know it's on the church desktop because that's the one we're working on right now. But it also has synchronized to any other computer that has the box program, my laptop at home and any other computer that has the program to enable it to synchronize. Okay, that's it for this one.